Hello everybody and welcome to the first video in our series looking at major characters coming up in the soon-to-be-released Warlords of Draenor expansion. My name is Necroxis, and in this series we're going to be examining the 7 warlords that we will see, as well as other major characters involved in our escapades on Draenor. It should be noted that the majority of these videos will be the lore of their character from our universe primarily, since we do not know a lot about their lore in any other role in the expansion yet. However, after reviewing both their lore in our universe, as well as what we know about them on Draenor, I'll be doing a little bit of theory crafting at the end of each video as to what their role will be in the expansion, in my opinion. So with that, let's get started. Our first character was known by a few titles: Chieftain, War Chief, Killer of Kings, and most famously, the Destroyer. It's the leader of the Blackrock clan, Blackhand. As was the case with most famous orcs of the First and Second War, the beginnings of the orc simply known as Blackhand are almost entirely unknown. But first, we need to establish a bit of a backstory. We begin with the Eredar Kil'jaeden tricking the elder shaman of the orcs and chieftain of the Shadowmoon clan, Ner'zhul, into believing he was the spirit of his recently deceased mate. This faux spirit then introduced Ner'zhul to the, quote, Great One, Kil'jaeden himself. The Eredar told Ner'zhul that the Draenei, who had peaceably coexisted with the orcs for over 200 years, were plotting their destruction. In actuality, Kil'jaeden was bitter that Valen and his Draenei refused to join him, Archimonde, and the rest of the Eredar in serving the fallen titan Sargeras and joining the Burning Legion, and sought a force sufficient enough to destroy his former brethren. The Elder Shaman called together the various orc chieftains at their sacred mountain of Oshu'gun and informed them of the Draenei's supposed treachery. Blackhand, representing the Blackrock clan, almost immediately began attacking the Draenei hunters, and soon Ner'zhul had the various clans working in unison to destroy the peaceful aliens. However, as the war against the Draenei ramped up, Ner'zhul began doubting Kil'jaeden's words. He traveled to Oshu'gun to speak with the spirits, only to learn that they turned against the orcs for having forsaken their beliefs in favor of Kil'jaeden's promises. It was here that the Elder Shaman plotted to turn against Kil'jaeden, but unfortunately Ner'zhul's talented and power-hungry apprentice Gul'dan had followed his master and had heard everything. He quickly went to Kil'jaeden and informed him of Ner'zhul's intentions, and the demon rewarded him the opportunity to become the masterfully powerful warlock as long as he would bring the orcs under his control. Gul'dan agreed wholeheartedly, caring not for anything but his own power. Make sure to remember this history, folks, as I'll be referencing it, and quite honestly probably repeating a lot of it, for many of the videos about the orcs in this series. When the call went out to orc shamans to train in the mastery of fell magic, Blackhand avidly offered all of his Blackrock shaman, who went on to become the first Horde warlocks. He even offered his 2 sons, Rend and Maim, and his daughter Griselda to the warlocks, who began magically aging orc children to battle ready in order to increase their numbers. At this point, Gul'dan manipulated the orc clans into forming the cohesive force of the Orcish Horde, and went on to direct it, now superpowered by warlocks and their fell magic, into murdering every Draenei they could find. In order to maintain total control over the orc society that Kil'jaeden had granted him, Gul'dan began training like-minded orcs and created the powerful Shadow Council. The council began controlling virtually every aspect of orc society, both to accomplish Kil'jaeden's goal, as well as distract a few orcs, such as Durotan and Orgrim Doomhammer, who had not bought into Gul'dan's story. During the Draenei extermination, Blackhand rode as a member of the Scythegore Arm, the Horde's division of raiders. The illustrious chieftain of the Blackrock clan was renowned for his tactical genius, and feared as a ruthless dictator who required the respect of his warriors. Fortunately for Gul'dan, Blackhand's lust for power made him easy to manipulate, and soon the Blackrock chieftain would become the face of the Horde. As the Draenei extinction reached its end, Blackhand led the Horde against their blue space alien neighbors from the newly created fortress of Hellfire Citadel. After proving the orcs were more than capable of the bloodthirsty savageness than he initially thought, Gul'dan sealed his pact with Kil'jaeden through the blood of Manaroth. This demonic substance was given to the orc chieftains to drink, and outside of Durotan and the Frostwolf clan, as well as Orgrim Doomhammer, the orcish race became barbaric and evil, an extension of the demons whom they now worshipped. At Kil'jaeden's command, Gul'dan directed Blackhand and the Horde to finish the slaughter of the Draenei at a final battle centered on Shattrath City. The attack was a massacre. Most of the city was destroyed, and the Draenei's defeat was sealed. After the Draenei were largely gone, however, the demon blood in the orcs' veins caused their bloodlust to begin spiraling out of control. Soon they were fighting amongst themselves, and the Horde was in danger of falling apart itself. But then Gul'dan was contacted across the Twisting Nether by Medivh, possessed by the spirit of Sargeras, and promised him godhood through the power of the fallen titan that was locked away within the tomb of Sargeras. All he had to do was use the orcish horde that he now controlled to conquer Azeroth. During the next few years, Gul'dan and his Shadow Council, aided on Azeroth by Medivh, constructed the Dark Portal. But the Warlock needed a figurehead to lead his horde while he manipulated things from behind the scenes. Cue Blackhand. Gul'dan fed Blackhand's ego by convincing him he was on equal footing with the Warlock, and became a member of the Shadow Council. Gul'dan also manipulated the election of the Horde's leader, establishing Blackhand as the first war chief of the Orcish Horde. But the reality was something else entirely. Blackhand was merely Gul'dan's puppet, a member of the Council in name only, really, and a means to an end for the Warlock and his plans. And invading a different planet had another side effect of directing the Horde's bloodlust at an enemy instead of themselves. The first war began when Blackhand, working under Gul'dan's direction, marched the Horde through the Dark Portal and began attacking the Kingdom of Stormwind. And despite the first war ultimately ending with the Horde's victory, personally, Blackhand and his lineage did not fare as well. Griselda, Blackhand's only daughter, was in love with an ogre named Turok. This union was forbidden by her father, and after arriving on Azeroth, she absconded with Turok and his band of ogres to the Dead Mines in Westfall. This disobeyed Blackhand's direct orders and was considered treason against the Horde. As a result, he ordered the death of his own daughter, and eventually a force of orcs invaded and cut Turok and Griselda down. More importantly, toward the end of the war, a contingent of Stormwind forces, including Anduin Lothar and Khadgar, Medivh's former apprentice, invaded Medivh's Tower of Karazhan to kill the possessed Guardian. Gul'dan, though, had not yet received the location of the Tomb of Sargeras from Medivh, and as such worriedly began searching Medivh's mind for the location. He was deep within Medivh's thoughts when Khadgar and Lothar killed Medivh, causing Gul'dan to fall into a coma. With the true leader of the Horde incapacitated, Blackhand's second-in-command, Ogrim Doomhammer, who never trusted Blackhand nor Gul'dan and his Shadow Council, seized an opportunity. In a surprise attack, Gul'dan led his troops against Blackhand, and without the counsel of Gul'dan, he quickly fell. Beheading the puppet leader, Doomhammer became both the chieftain of the Blackrock clan, as well as the new war chief of the Horde. Gul'dan would eventually come out of his coma, but his position as puppet master of the Horde was over. Doomhammer ruled now when he was having nothing of the Shadow Council. In fact, he went about dismantling it as soon as he could. With Blackhand and Griselda dead, the Blackhand name lived on through his sons Rend and Maim. After their father's death, Rend and Maim gathered a bunch of loyalist orcs and formed the Blacktooth Grin clan. They followed Doomhammer's rule and joined the Horde for the Second War. But towards the end, Doomhammer commanded them to chase Gul'dan and his Stormreaver clan down after they abandoned the Horde's war effort in favor of searching for the Tomb of Sargeras. They arrived at the tomb and defeated Gul'dan's forces, but returned to Doomhammer after learning that Gul'dan had died inside. The brothers would survive the Second War, but escaped to Blackrock Mountain with the remaining Blackrock orcs as the Alliance marched on the Dark Portal at the end of it. When Ner'zhul took control of the Horde following its defeat, he sent an emissary to Rend and Maim requesting their assistance in the form of their captured red dragons. Rend, having become leader at this point, refused. Following this, Nefarian arrived at Blackrock Spire and took control of Blackhand brothers and their forces. Maim would be killed by Dark Iron Dwarves at some point after this, while Rend served in an oddly familiar position to what his father once did. He was Nefarian's puppet, leading this, quote, Dark Horde from Blackrock Mountain, until adventurers under the direction of Thrall infiltrated their stronghold and assassinated him, finally ending the Blackrock line. Now, moving on to the alternate version of Blackhand in Warlords of Draenor, we learn that at his core, he is essentially the same orc. He's described as power-mad, tactically brilliant, and uses cruelty to maintain his control over those he has conquered. Instead of a puppet this time, however, he serves as the mechanism through which the Iron Horde achieves its deadliness. Blackhand and his Blackrock orcs serve as the weaponsmiths of Garrosh's Iron Star designs that he brought from our timeline. Blackhand and his clan call the desolate, rocky badland of Gorgron their home. The industrial development of the clan turned the once glistening oasis into its current, decrepit state. Using Gorgron's massive steam vents, the Blackrock Foundry, headed off by Blackhand himself, churns out weapons, armor, and torrents of smoke great enough to be seen from neighboring lands. After securing a foothold on Draenor, the Alliance and Horde set about defeating the Iron Horde by dismantling their weapons manufacturer and giving our Azeroth time to prepare. Now, for a bit of theory crafting regarding Blackhand, not much is needed to foresee his end. We already know that he is the final boss of the Blackrock Foundry, which is the final raid instance in 6.0. I imagine we'll spend most of Gorgon stopping the Blackrock Orcs from capping the few steam vents that they had not, as well as dismantling their weapons manufacturing before heading into Blackrock Foundry itself to do so as well. Frankly, I'm much more curious about how Ogrim Doomhammer will play into all of this, but I'll get to that in his own video. I have to say, I really do love how Blackhand is shaping up. Based on our lore, we see that the core of the character is basically the same, and that notion is something I've been saying I hope Blizzard keeps in this alternate universe. As I said in my Warlords of Draenor theory crafting video, you can have a character react to different things, but I think at their core, our version and Draenor's version of the character will probably be the same. The only wild card I think exists for Blackhand's character is if he ends up serving as a puppet to somebody else, as he did in our timeline. I both do and don't hope that they do this. I do because I'm curious as to who this could be, since Gul'dan seems very unlikely at this point without a massive plot twist. Then again, I wouldn't be against that plot twist happening. However, I also don't want Blackhand to be a puppet because I do find the twist that he is equally as terrible as a person, even without someone manipulating him, very interesting. And with that, we come to the end of our first Warlords of Draenor character feature video. Thank you for watching, everybody. If you have any thoughts, theories, or questions about Blackhand in either our universe or Draenor's, leave them in the comments below and I'll be sure to answer them to the best of my ability. How do you feel about how this character is shaping up thus far? Do you like or dislike him? If you like this video, make sure to give it a like, comment, and to subscribe. But as always, if you would really like to help me out, make sure to share this video with people you think would find it interesting, because I'm always looking to introduce more people to the lore. Make sure to stick with this channel for more Warlords of Draenor character features coming up soon, because with World of Warcraft, everyone, especially with an expansion coming up, there is always more lore to explore, and I really hope you do that with me, because hey, it's fun. Alright, farewell everybody, I'll see you next time.